the Mormon Church announces record-breaking temple construction. New missions are opening worldwide. They claim millions of members across the globe. But here's what they're not telling you. For every 100 people who join the church, only about 25 are still active a year later. In the United States, the church's own heartland congregations, called wards, are being consolidated. Buildings are being sold off. Youth are leaving in droves. Entire generations are simply walking away. Every year, the church publishes growth statistics. They're hiding the biggest exodus in Mormon history. If you want to see the real data, they don't want members to know internal reports, the leaked statistics, the testimonies of those who have left. Then subscribe to Mormon Deep Dive right now, because what I'm about to reveal will show you exactly why the fastest growing church narrative is crumbling. Let's uncover the truth. Welcome to Mormon Deep Dive. I'm your host, and today we're reinvestigating one of the most carefully guarded secrets in modern Mormonism, the mass exodus. LDS Church loves to tout its growth. Every April and October, during their general conference, they announce membership numbers that seem impressive. We've reached 17 million members worldwide, they'll proclaim. But here's the problem. Those numbers are, in a way, lies. Maybe not outright lies, but they're deeply misleading. Because the church counts everyone who's ever been baptized as a member until they turn 110 years old. It doesn't matter if you formally resigned, doesn't matter if you haven't been to church in 30 years, doesn't matter if you explicitly asked to have your name removed and they just ignored it, you're in the count pretty much forever. Meanwhile, the real story, the one happening in chapels across America and Europe, is one of empty pews, dissolved congregations, and families quietly slipping out the back door. Today, we're diving into the actual retention rates, the leaked internal documents, the ward consolidations, and most importantly, why people are leaving in unprecedented numbers. Stick around because the reasons might surprise you. Alright, so let's start with what the church actually reports. Looking at their official statistics, we see a total membership of around 17 million. They baptize about 250,000 new converts each year, and they announce dozens of new temples. On paper, it looks like a thriving global organization. But if you look closer, the cracks are everywhere. Independent researchers and even some former church statisticians have pointed out a massive discrepancy between membership and activity. In many parts of the world, especially in Latin America and Europe, the activity rate is as low as 20 to 30%. That means for every 10 people on the church's rolls, only 2 or 3 are actually showing up on Sunday. Here's a question for you. Have you noticed your local ward or branch getting smaller lately? Or have you seen buildings in your area being sold or combined? Let me know in the comments where you're from and what you're seeing on the ground. I really want to hear your stories. The church's own internal data, some of which has been leaked over the years, shows that retention is at an all-time low. They're losing people faster than they can replace them. And it's not just the less active members who are leaving. It's the stalwarts, the bishops, the Relief Society presidents, the multi-generational families who were once the very backbone of the church. So why is this happening? Because the internet changed everything. Now, here's the twist. Most people think Mormons leave because they want to sin or because they got offended. That's the narrative the church leaders often push from the pulpit. But the data shows something completely different. The number one reason people are leaving today isn't a lack of faith in God. It's a crisis of trust in the institution itself. For decades, the church controlled the narrative. It told a very specific, sanitized version of their own history. But now, with just the click of a button, members can access original documents, historical records, and scholarly research that directly contradicts what they were taught in Sunday school. They're finding out about the true nature of Joseph Smith's polygamy, which included teenage brides. They're learning about the actual translation process of the Book of Mormon, involving a stone in a hat. They're discovering the church's massive $150 billion plus investment fund that was kept secret from members for years, when members realize they've been lied to war at the very least. That the full truth was deliberately withheld, the foundation of their faith often crumbles. It's not that they stop believing in Jesus. It's that they stop believing the church is what it claims to be. This information age has become the church's biggest nightmare. You can't hide the history anymore. And once that trust is broken, it's almost impossible to get back. Let's talk specifically about Europe for a moment. This is where the decline is most visible. In countries like the UK, Germany, and Sweden, the church is struggling just to maintain a presence. Wards are being consolidated at an alarming rate. In some areas, entire stakes which are like dioceses are being dissolved completely. Europeans, generally speaking, are more secular and have higher standards for institutional transparency. When the SEC fine hit the news revealing the church's shell companies used to hide their wealth, it resonated deeply in Europe and confirmed many suspicions. The very American-centric nature of the church also plays a significant role. Many European members feel disconnected from a leadership that is almost entirely based in Utah and seems out of touch with the cultural realities of modern Europe. I want to ask my European viewers specifically, what is the reputation of the LDS Church in your country? Is it seen as a growing religion or as a fading relic of the past? Please answer in the comments below. I'm fascinated by the different perspectives across the continent. So how does the church keep that 17 million number growing if so many people are leaving? It's all in the accounting. First, there's the 110-year rule, as I mentioned. If they lose track of you, they just keep you on the books until you would have reached your 110th birthday. Second, there are resignation hurdles. For years, the church made it incredibly difficult to officially resign. It required notarized letters, meetings with bishops, and sometimes even legal threats. Because of this, many people just stop going and never officially leave, so they stay in the final count. Third, they count children of record. They count children born into the church as members, even before they're baptized at age 8. If you were to count only the active, tithe-paying members, most experts estimate the real number is closer to 4 or 5 million worldwide. That's a staggering difference. 17 million versus 5 million. The church is essentially becoming a ghost ship. It's a massive structure that looks impressive from a distance but is increasingly empty on the inside. The numbers don't lie, even if the organizations reporting them do. The LDS Church is facing a demographic and existential crisis. The stone cut out of the mountain without hands that was prophesied to fill the whole earth is, instead, shrinking in its most developed markets. People are choosing truth over tradition. They're choosing transparency over obedience. And they're finding community and spiritual fulfillment outside the chapel walls. If you found this analysis helpful, please subscribe to Mormon Deep Dive. We're committed to bringing you the honest research truth about Mormonism stories they don't want told. And don't forget to comment below. Tell me your thoughts on the real numbers. Why do you think the church is so desperate to hide this decline? Let's get a real conversation going. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.